Hello everyone. Welcome back to the next training session of SHL's technical support team. Today's content we want to introduce to everyone about neat cutting oil. The presentation includes the following sections: definition and characteristics of neat cutting oil, the components of neat cutting oil, the selection of neat cutting oil, cutting process, our company's neat cutting oil lineup, and the last part is the management and analysis item of used oil. Because of the limited time, in today's session we introduce to everyone two parts: definition and characteristics of neat cutting oil and the components of neat cutting oil. The first part: definition and characteristics of neat cutting oil. By definition, non-soluble cutting oil refers to an emulsion used to reduce wear and abrasion between tools and materials during metal working, and to improve tool life, surface roughness and machining accuracy. In terms of characteristics, compared with water-soluble cutting oil, neat cutting oil help improve tool life, rust prevention, workability and better anti-decaying. However, in terms of cooling ability and economy, water-soluble cutting oil will be better than neat cutting oil. Next, on the components of neat cutting oil. Neat cutting oil includes base oil and additives. About base oil, one of the important properties for neat cutting oils is lubricity. Good and sufficient lubricity will help good machinability. Too low or too high viscosity can affect the machining process. Therefore, the base oil belongs to which group greatly affects the lubricity of the oil. In the additive, there are two main additive components that are oil agent and extreme pressure additives. In addition to these two types of additives, there are also other types of additives such as anti-rust agent, antioxidant. Oil agent helps to increase the lubricity of the oil. With neat cutting oil, to achieve a necessary viscosity, in addition to the main base oil, the oil agent is also a substance that helps to achieve the necessary lubrication for the machining process and extend product life. Oil agent can be synthetic oil, fatty oil or ester oil. The second additive that is also very important in neat cutting oil is the extreme pressure additives. Extreme pressure additives, or EP additives, are additives for lubricants with a role to decrease wear of the parts of the gears exposed to very high pressures. They are also added to cutting fluids for machining of metals. Extreme pressure additives typically contain organic sulfur, phosphorus or chlorine compounds. On the slide one can see the graph of the dependence of the extreme pressure additives with the temperature ranges used. With sulfur additives, there are two types of sulfur compounds used: active and inactive sulfur. Inactive sulfur for use at a lower temperature range than active sulfur, and active sulfur is for use at the highest temperatures of the extreme pressure additives. Active sulfur, often sulfurized fat, provides extreme pressure properties for fluids used in heavy machining operations, such as broaching, or processes involving stainless steel and hard alloys. However, in some respects, active sulfur is sensitive to the ability to corrode metals, especially copper. From there, note when using this additive with copper materials and copper alloys. In the figure, the color change when using active and inactive sulfur additives is shown. With the inactive sulfur additive, the measured copper corrosion was 1B. As for the active sulfur additive, the copper corrosion is 4A. With the chlorine additive, it has the advantage of extreme pressure and good detergency. However, chlorine additive is a toxic additive that seriously affects health, especially the respiratory system. As soon as mid-2017, the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency may outlaw most chlorine additives, leaving the metalworking industry searching for alternatives that won't sacrifice performance or tool protection. Above are the first two contents of neat cutting oil that we want to introduce to you in today's session. The next session we will continue to explore the remaining contents of this chapter. Thank you for listening. If you have any questions or concerns, you can contact our technical support team via the email below. Thank you and see you again.